Hi, my name is Sherry Geisler, and I am a spinning teacher. I've been spinning about 15 years. I've come up with kind of a simple way to do Navajo ply. So that's what we're going to teach you how to do today, is Navajo plying. When you use Navajo plied yarn, you're able to knit socks in a striping fashion. If you were just to buy the yarn, it would be very expensive, but you can do this yourself. I began by taking some blue-faced Leicester wool and dyeing it with acid dyes, and then I spun it using my Navajo ply technique. And as you can see, the Navajo ply technique is great because it keeps the colors very sharp and together, rather than taking two different bobbins with two different color patterns and plying them together and getting a barber pole effect. Here the colors can remain true, which when knitted will give you a striping effect, and you have total control over that. So at this time I'm going to show you my technique for Navajo plying. To begin Navajo plying, or chain plying as it is actually also called, I feed my single through a loop of the leader, and I'm going to be actually chaining with my right hand, and my left hand will keep the single taut. You are going to use more yarn whenever you Navajo ply, because here again you're going to be creating a three-ply yarn, instead of a two-ply yarn. So I am going to open up my fingers every time I make this chain so that I have pretty much a 45-degree angle above the single and a 45-degree angle below the single. This is called the drafting triangle, and you want to keep that as consistent as you can, and it will create an open loop at this particular point if you don't allow the twist to overlap it a couple of times. And that's nice to do in this position. You can see it when your hands are horizontal in front of you as opposed to directly vertical with the orifice. It's easier for you to control that wrap, so you don't have a loop. So to begin with, I just want to make sure that this new leader line is working properly. And I caught that initial loop, and I feed my fingers through and catch the single and open it up to the triangle and catch that loop right there at that point, and again at that point, and I'm catching the point of the drafting triangle so that the loop is closed. And I'm controlling the yarn with my left hand by keeping the single pulled taut, and I go in and pull that single through the triangle. Now you can see my colors are starting to change, and it's keeping the next gradient color together. Now we're back into maroons. So you're getting nice vivid color changes whenever you Navajo ply. You don't want to treadle too fast. Remember, plying does undo some of the twist in a single. And if you want, you could stop and just let it hang loose. And you don't want to kink it up or curling back on itself. This is a good twist right here. It's fairly balanced, I would say. So here again, we start and we open up that triangle, then we let it feed in after we wrap over that point. This actually can go pretty quickly and evenly, and is sort of a very relaxing rhythm. And now I'm getting a very consistent twist. Now we're going into the grays. See how that changed right there? We had red. We only had a couple of wraps where the gray was with the red, but now we are into the gray areas. And continuing on until you're right at the end of your bobbin. We have a little more to go. Now I'm going into my turquoises. This is a rough yarn, very nubby. This was some Rambouillet that I sheared years ago and dyed. Now we're into the turquoise. And if you've ever worked with Rambouillet, it's very puffy and elastic. Very, very soft. One of the softest sheep wool that you can ever use. And there we are. Every now and then I'll just double check that it's balanced, which it is. And we will just continue to the end here. Catch the loops, catch the point. And so I'm crocheting in essence with my fingers. See that? Now we're going back into some gray area. And I think it's pretty when you kind of get a mix of the two colors. It gradually changes. Gives a lot of interest in your finished yarn. Very simple. You are in control. You're not having to loop anything around your wrist and go up and down and around and around. It's very simple. Okay. And this might be your finished product. Would be knitted up. This is one single yarn, and you can see all of the colors. I carded this on my Louette carder, took it off, tore it off into roving in a way that I had all of my color changes. Had some gradient changes here, some gradual, and that's Navajo plying when you knit it up. I hope you've learned something from the video and that you might give it a try. Thank you.